Yeah, they're like, oh my god, you fucking rap. To the white folk, I'm a thug with tats. To the black folk, I'm too fucking frat. Yo, fuck this crap, get fed up. My dad says keep your head up and don't.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Pablos, aka Kaspar. Hopefully by now, you already subscribed to my channel and saw the pilot episode that I released a few days ago. Today I have something a little different. I called in a Crush Life Poker live call-in show with Bart Hanson, one of the first hands that I played at the Heartland Poker Tour. So I decided to put together one video that has an extensive analysis on this specific hand. So before we go, in the description of the channel, I do have a referral code and you can receive 37 days free subscription at Crush Life Poker. I personally am a subscriber since last Christmas more so, and I can tell you it has improved my live game and especially my cash game. That was one of the reasons that I decided to become a member in the first place. Let's go to the hand.
Pavlos, what's going on?
All good. How about you?
Nothing much. So I want to tell everybody that Pavlos, along with, as we have like a bunch of other CLP subscribers that do vlogs, Pavlos is doing a new YouTube vlog. We've got our buddy Matt Vaughn. We've got Jamin Burton. You're just starting off on a blog. So if you want to check it out, it's Kaspav Poker. They'll find it right in YouTube.
Yeah, they'll find the channel. Yep.
So go and subscribe over there. Check it out. He just put his first vlog up. You're at the HPT in Daytona, right? And we're gonna go over a hand.
Correct. Yeah, and that's gonna be my episode number 1.
Okay.
I released the pilot episode, and Heartland Poker Tour main event is gonna be my first episode. And I have one of the first hands that I played there. Starting stack, we have 30,000. The blinds are 100. So it's going to play like, very deep cash game.
100. Is this the first level, basically? Or second level?
First level, actually it's first 5 hands, I believe, of the whole tournament. Yep. We're on this small blind with ace-5 of diamonds. And the button makes it 300. And here, I was kind of cold. So I did not 3-bet. I think probably the first option should be 3-bet, but I just called.
I mean, I looking back at this on paper, yeah, that's what it looked like when you sent me this over at first. But to be perfectly honest with you, if I'm playing my first hand in a tournament with a bunch of unknowns, short-handed, especially if there's no ante where people aren't overcalling in the big blind all that much because of the dead money, I don't hate a call here as you get situated. Yes, it's probably going to be more often than going to be a 3-bet here, especially with antes. You're going to be playing a very high frequency 3-bet or fold from the small blind. Here there are no antes. Sometimes I will play a little bit of a passive route when I'm up against just a bunch of unknowns in the first level of a tournament. So I don't think you're really giving away all that much here to have a frequency of call. So you make the call in the small blind.
Yeah, and the big blind calls as well.
Okay.
Flop comes queen of diamonds.
Yep.
5 of clubs, 4 of diamonds.
So you flop the nut flush draw on a pair of 5s. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Couldn't ask for any better, right?
Uh-huh.
I check, big blind check. The button bets 600.
600 into a pot of 900, right?
900. Yep.
Okay. That's a that's kind of on the larger side. Is this an older player or what?
He looked recreational, but solid. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you were heads up here, this is just a slam dunk call because you basically, if you look at if a guy's betting ace high, you've got him covered, right? Because you'll have aces up. You don't even need that much protection because you've got diamonds. You've sort of flopped the world. Where we see some things reflected in a check raise here as a combo draw bluff is a hand like 5-6 of diamonds. It's going to need some protection types from some sort of dangling overcard types of things, or with you having the ace as a block is one of them. ace-5 of diamonds here with the guy in the big blind, I would still call for the most part. I mean, I'm just saying you have a slam dunk call heads up. It's still probably a call multi-way. There is something to be said for check raising to drive out somebody behind you, but I would play this pretty much as a straight call, I would think.
Okay, and that's what I did. I called, and the big blind folds.
Okay. Yep.
Turn is 2 of clubs.
So now we're looking at a pot of what, 1,800 chips, right?
Isn't 21? 6, 12, plus 9.
Oh, yeah, 21. My bad. Yeah, 21. You're right. All right, 21. Okay. So your heads up.
Heads up. I check, and he bets 900.
You said the turn was the deuce of clubs. Is that right?
Yes, two of clubs. Yep.
Okay, so hero checks, and now he bets 900 into 2,100. Okay.
And the way I interpret that bet, I didn't think. I thought it was. I felt that it was a weak bet basically, and I raised, picking up additional equity as well because now we have the gutter too.
So when you say you do, obviously, you've got a wheel gutter here, and you have, a pair of 5s and diamonds. You said it was kind of a weak bet. Meaning that what? That he's got like a weak top pair, like Queen 10, Queen 9, Jacks 10s. Would he bet those hands twice into 2 people? Because your hand is sort of in between here, Pablos, right? Like, I don't know if it needs to be check raised here as a semi-bluff. The sound thing, if it was to be check raised as a semi-bluff, is that are you going to get him off of a better hand here if you check raise the turn?
I mean, a weak queen is obviously in his range, and any talking about the bottom of his range, right? And any middle pair, from 6s to Jacks.
So you said you check raise to 3,200, is that right? 900 to 3,200?
I checked raise to 2,500, and that's, I think I should have went a little bit larger.
I don't know if hands like 6s through 10s are betting here 2 streets. Here's the issue with the check rate. The other thing too is that, listen, like, you can definitely play a straight up exploitable game where you think that your opponent is totally clueless about ranges and things like that. But usually when you're playing in a tournament, you don't know the opponent. So you tend to try to play at least somewhat close to baseline and then make exploits after the fact. The problem here is I feel like you're not repping a ton by check raising the turn here. I guess you could have 5s and 4s. You're not going to call with deuces and maybe like ace-3 suited. I would have a hard time in your opponent's shoes bet folding a value hand. So if I put myself in your opponent's shoes and I would have a hard time bet folding a value hand, that would mean that I'm not going to get a better hand to fold with a check raise. Now, your opponent certainly could be double barreling, right, with air, but you've got the board covered here. So I still think that this might be played off as a straight sort of call across multiple streets here, sort of with board coverage and with the ace-5 of diamonds, gutter to a wheel. You can call down on some rivers. Your hand is somewhat hidden a little bit too. He might try to barrel off if a straight comes and you could call. I mean, I do struggle sometimes in the spot because it's a tournament and sometimes you just want to win the pot. But if I'm going to put myself in your opponent's shoes and I'm not going to bet fold the value hand because your hand looks super, super sort of polarized, like it just doesn't look like it's you're repping such a sort of a tiny value range, then I don't want to check raise that player if I put myself in his shoes and I'm not going to bet fold value. Now, if you think he's going to come off a Queen 10 or Queen Jack, it's certainly an exploit, but if you're new to the table, I'm not exactly sure how you can make that exploit, and I don't know how you can really assume, because it's very non-standard, that someone's going to be betting 7s, 8s, 9s here across 2 streets. So I would tend to put this in a call range. You're check raising the 2,500.
If you decided to check raise, do you think I should have went around 3,200 type of bet instead of 25?
No, I don't think so. If you're trying to get him off of his like just very, very weak value hands that he beats, that you think that he's going to come off of like 8s, 9s or something like that, then I think it's fine. I think you can evaluate what you're going to do at the end. This probably gets the job done.
Okay.
You know?
So he calls, if I remember correctly, he called relatively quick.
So the pot's now 7,100, right?
The pot is
Put in 5,000, right?
It's 7,100, yep.
Okay. Let's roll the river.
The river is 8 of clubs.
Okay.
I gave up at that point. I check.
I mean, listen, like I'm not, like I said, usually tournaments are still going to be value in the early stages. You can be like overly aggressive in spots and stuff like too, but the way that you've played this hand, usually you don't see people check raise the turn with the front door as a delay, meaning that like if I was in a vacuum against typical live opponents and somebody check raised me on the turn, I would rarely expect them to have the front door as a bluff. It would be more of them picking up the back door. I don't know if you have enough showdown value here. And for him to have clubs, he would have to sort of structure his continuation bet with a backdoor flush draw, which he could have, right? But I think I would probably... I'm not a huge fan of your check raise on turn, but I think when we get to this river, I think you probably bluff it. If you have the, sometimes the 6-7, something like that. I don't think you have enough showdown value here to win. So I think that you do have to bluff across clubs. What ended up happening? Check.
He checked behind, and he wins with 9s.
Yeah. There you go. It's interesting that he bet off 9s twice and called your raise. But that's the whole thing. Like I said, it's like, I think you got to have to blast that river. I mean, the way I would have played it, I would have lost too, right? Because I would have just check called and it would have gone check. But you have to recognize sometimes when you've played the front door draw in a non-standard way by sort of delay raising turn, you're allowed to use the backdoor draw here too, especially if it's going to be what looks like it's going to be, kind of scary. I don't think your hands had enough showdown value to not bluff. Now, if the river was an offsuit 8, Pavlos, I can get on board with just giving up, right? You have some showdown value.
You would give up on the... Okay. Because I was thinking the opposite, to be honest. I felt it when he called the turn that he had a lot of flush draws, and the fact that it's the queen of diamonds on the board, and not the queen of clubs. So
no, I think if the river's an offsuit 8, you do have some showdown value against some sort of missed draws if you had backdoor clubs, right? If you have ace 5, and he's not going to... the more important part of the offsuit 8 is that he's not going to fold. Like, he's probably not going to fold a queen because all the draws bricked out, right? But if he has a queen here, right, and you've check raised and you were trying to get that sort of weak part of his range out, which is why I don't like the check raise, because I think this is sort of way ahead, way behind. But, okay, you check raise and he calls. Now this river is a card that he can fold on if he had a hand like queen jack, queen 10. Whereas a brick 8, I don't think you're going to get the fold equity. You know what I mean?
I mean, I was at least correct on my feeling that the turn was a weak holding, not as strong, because of his size.
Well, it should have worked, right? It should have worked.
But a lot of times, I find myself that I know that he has a weak holding, but they're too sticky.
That they're too sticky. I mean, that's another... Well, then, I mean, when you said, should my sizing be larger? If your sizing is going to be larger... This is such a small part of this guy's range, I feel like, that he arrives here with. I just think it's going to be more queen X or draws, whether it's front door or back door or whatever it is. But if you're not going to get him to fold 9s to 2,500, if it's a sort of a kind of made-up term, like an inelastic calling range, where larger gets him to fold some of the weaker portions of his showdown value, then I guess you do go larger. here. I wouldn't have thought that he would have 9s, but I think what I've seen, especially when I was playing tournaments and stuff, is that if you make a play on the semi-bluff on the front door, you can represent the back door, especially if you're doing it on the turn. Again, check out my buddy Kaspov's
More
YouTube.
hands from there.
Yeah, Kaspov Poker. So are you re-entering, or are you still in the tournament?
This was played 2 weekends ago.
Oh, this was 2 weekends ago, the Daytona thing?
Yep.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Well, then don't tell us the result, because you're going to tell us in it.
No, I didn't even post it on my Facebook blog page.
Okay.
The results.
Good. All right. All right. Thanks for the call, Pavlos.
You may be younger than me, more humble than me, but ain't nobody got more hunger than me. When they gonna tell me what I'm gonna be, I block them out to the side of the beat. And I've been vibing, my mind reside on islands when I be rhyming, riding, and now I finally found it. My sound is finally coming out the way I mean it when I write it.